Olá, eu sou Raquel Carneiro e este é o Em Cartaz, programa da Veja com novidades sobre o cinema e o streaming, além de boas entrevistas. E para esse vídeo, aliás, eu conversei com 3 atores do novo elenco de The Crown, entre eles ninguém menos que a nova rainha. The Crown chegou à sua 5ª temporada na Netflix e logo virou um hit de audiência. A série, que acompanha a história do reinado da Elizabeth II, atraiu novos espectadores desde a morte da rainha no dia 8 de setembro, e também criou uma expectativa nova para essa temporada que acabou de chegar na plataforma.
In light of the events of the last 12 months, perhaps I have more to reflect on than most.
Essa fase apresentou um novo elenco. Agora a rainha é interpretada por Imelda Staunton e o príncipe Philip pelo excelente Jonathan Pryce. Eu falei com os dois e também com a Lesley Manville, que interpreta a princesa Margaret, irmã da rainha. Dá uma olhada. I want to know, Imelda, how did you feel to come back to the set and play the Queen after her death?
It was very strange, obviously, and we took the time off, but then in my schedule I wasn't working for about a week or more, and I was very grateful for that break. But I felt for the crew, who, of course, a lot of them have been doing this series since day one with Claire Foy, and then to see, and I actually filmed the day after the funeral, so it was very odd. I think we had a lot of supporting artists who were looking at this portrayal of the Queen. And then, you know, the first couple of hours was sort of a bit strange, but then you go right and onwards.
But I felt coming back especially after the funeral, that there had been so much on television about the Queen and documentaries and looking back on her life, that what it did for me, it reinforced that what we're doing in The Crown is we're doing the right thing. And it's a very respectful view of the Queen, but it also shows a lot of the pain and turmoil that went on in her life, especially in this period in season 5. And I felt that somehow we are honouring her memory especially.
Well, compared with the previous cast, this is the closest generation we've seen from the actors to Elizabeth and Philip. So how does this proximity affect the way you both play them?
I don't think it does affect it, because we are playing these characters at this age with this script, and that is what's required. And it's very nice for us because Jonathan and I have known each other a very long time, so we didn't have to think, now how are we going to play people who have a very long relationship? So that did a lot of work for us. And yes, it's a challenge in as much as, you know, this Queen is much nearer the present day and people will think, no, she doesn't do that. But then you that's just all noise. You then just get on with the script and working with the other actors and making this as good as it can be.
Yeah, I find it very reassuring that I was playing Philip at the kind of the right age for me, and it was an opportunity for me anyway to discover a lot more about Prince Philip and get to find the man behind that public image of a man who didn't say anything very much, but when he did, he was always saying the wrong thing, and to discover that he was a man of high intellect, highly intelligent, a scientific mind, and always questioning and thinking about the future. And it reminds you as a 75-year-old that that's what you should be doing too, just thinking of the future and not worrying too much about the past.
Well, the show compares Margaret and Diana as personalities that doesn't quite fit into that system. So can you tell me, how do you feel about them both after this experience?
I think they're fundamentally very, very different women. And Diana was treading a different path and on a different journey to what Margaret had been on. I mean, Margaret is always ultimately going to be an upstanding member of the royal family. She had a very free spirit and different personality to the Queen. So she was allowed to have a kind of more free life. But so I don't think they're comparable, Diana and Margaret, in quite the same way. But this season sees Margaret at a different time in her life when she's dealing with her own loneliness and the culmination, the results of the life that she chose to have and the people she chose to have her relationships with.
E esse foi o Em Cartaz. A gente se vê na semana que vem.